So here are a couple homework examples. These problems look very similar to the ones on your assignment, so pay close attention. So here we have our equation to solve is 17 equals m plus 5 minus 3m. So remember, first step is to simplify the expressions on each side so that you're working with the easiest looking equation to solve possible. Okay, so the first thing I notice is I have an m here and I have negative 3m here. So I can actually combine those. So if I have an m here, remember if there's not a number in front of it, there's just an invisible 1. So this represents 1m, and we need to subtract 3 m's. So 1 minus 3 would be negative 2. So that leaves me with negative 2 m's, and then I still have this plus 5. Okay, all of this is still equal to 17. And now this side is simplified, and it looks much easier to work with than what I had before. Okay, now that I have all the sides simplified, my next step is I want to get all of the m's, or the variable, on this side, and all of my 1's, the numbers, on this side. So that means this positive 5 has got to go. So I need to find a way to make a 0 pair with a positive 5. So in order to make a 0 pair, I would need to subtract 5 on this side, because a positive 5 and a negative 5 would combine to be 0. Now remember, think of this equation like a scale. If whatever I do on one side, I have to do it on both sides to keep it all balanced. So if I subtract 5 here, I'll subtract 5 here as well. Now I have 17 minus 5 is 12. This is equal to negative 2m. And like I said, a positive 5 and a negative 5 combine to be 0. They cancel out. So here is my equation that I'm working with now. So I have 12 equals a negative 2m. So divide these into groups. So I have a negative 2m, so I'll divide by negative 2 on both sides. Remember, keeping it balanced. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. So I'm left with 1m. And then this is equal to 12 divided by negative 2. Check it with a calculator. 12 divided by negative 2 is negative 6. So I solved, and the solution is m equals negative 6. Next example has a decimal in it. Don't be scared. We follow the exact same steps. This time just has a decimal. So first step, simplify the expressions on both sides. So this side, let's look at this one and see what we can do. We have a 0.5b and a 2b. These can be combined. So I would add 0.5 plus 2 is 2.5. That's not so hard. So I have 2.5 b's, and this is still equal to negative 50. Now this is looking a little bit easier now. I have all my variables on this side. The b's are all on this side together, and all the numbers are over here. So now I need to get rid of this 2.5. The way I would do that is I'm going to divide it into 2.5 groups on both sides. Okay, 2.5 divided by 2.5. If you want to check it on your calculator, you can, but it's just 1. So I'm left with 1b is equal to a negative 50 divided by 2.5. Let's see what that is. We have a negative 50 divided by 2.5 is negative 20. That answer doesn't look too scary. Okay, so we solved, and the solution is b equals negative 20. Last example has fractions. Dun dun dun. Okay, that's why I included this one. The steps are still the same, so let's follow the same steps. Can I do any simplifying? On this side of the equal sign, everything looks simplified. I just have one number and one expression or term with a variable. And on this side, it's just one number. So there's no simplifying to do. So what I need to work on is getting all of the variables alone on this side and all of the numbers or the constants on this side. So I have a negative 4/3 over here. So I need to make a 0 pair with negative 4/3. In order to do that, I would add 4/3, because a negative 4/3 plus 4/3 is 0. So this is my 0 pair. Now remember, whatever I do on one side, I have to do on both sides. to keep everything balanced. Okay, so the negative 4/3 and the positive 4/3, like I said, cancel each other out. So let me rewrite this a little bit so we can see what we have here. We have 4/3 minus 2/3. And this is equal to 6r. So we need to know, what is 4/3 minus 2/3? Well, when our fractions have the same number in the denominator, then I simply subtract the numbers in the numerator. So I have 3's in both the denominators, so that means I'm going to subtract these numbers on top. And 4 minus 2 is 2. So my new number in the numerator will be 2, because 4 minus 2 is 2. And then my denominator stays the same. So if I have 4/3 and I subtract 2/3, that leaves me with 2/3. Now I have 6r over here. I'm going to divide that into 6 groups. And I'm going to divide this into 6 groups. So 6 divided by 6 is 1, so I'm left with 1r on this side. And now on my calculator, I have 2/3, so I would do 2/3. Now divide that by 6. Is approximately 0.1111111, which is the same thing as 1/9. Or you could write 0.11 with a repeating bar over the top. Okay, so those are the examples that I'm going to do for you for your assignment. Go ahead and move on to it and see how you do. And if you have questions on your assignment, just let me know and I'm happy to help you.